Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. And please hit the like button if you're here. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. Also, tell at least two people, not just tell, send the link to this video to at least two people. Go ahead, put it in your group chat. All right. And if you have any questions about anything that I attempt to explain, please put your questions or your comments in the comment section. All right. And we got Frederick Douglass here with us. Please make sure you do your research on Frederick Douglass. Also, familiarize yourself with his count them three, not one, not two, but three autobiographies that he wrote at different points in his life. First one came out in 1845. The second one came out 10 years later in 1855. And his last and final autobiography, which was the longest out of all of them, he dropped that in 1881. All right, so get familiar with the work of Frederick Douglass, abolitionist, formerly enslaved African, and many other things. All right, so our first example of doing addition of two-digit numbers using the arrow way, right? I got one that's already worked out, and we're going to do one together. All right, so the first example says 18 plus 11, and 18 plus 11 is 29. Now, using the arrow way, how did I get that? How to use the arrow way? Now, I just got introduced to the arrow way a couple of days ago. I was walking home. I live in North Philly. Anybody knows me, you know I live down North Philly, right? I'm walking home. I was taking a walk, trying to get some exercise. I'm walking home. I'm walking past 22nd and Norris around the corner from my crib. And I see this like worksheet on the ground, look like it been ran over in traffic. And I pick it up and it's a worksheet from somebody's Eureka Math workbook, right? And it's like, you know, I could tell it's some first grade work. It's from the first grade workbook, and it has a bunch of examples on it. And the instructions are to do addition using either quick 10 drawings, number bonds, or the arrow way. Now, I'm familiar with number bonds, right? But I was not familiar with quick 10 drawings or the arrow way. So did I get uncomfortable? Nah. What I did is I went online, looked up some video content on using quick 10 drawings, using the arrow way, and now here we are. I'm passing that information on to you. I'm showing you how to do it. All right. So it's just like this, just that simple. So parents, when your children come home with the homework, don't fret, don't get upset, don't get uncomfortable. There's resources out there, right? Please go get the resources. You can use my channel. You use the All This Math YouTube channel. If you don't use the All This Math YouTube channel, use somebody else's YouTube channel. You can figure out how to do these different methods, right? Don't try to like just force your child to use the method that you know how to do. Figure out the method that their teacher is asking them to do. There's a reason for it. The more methods your children know how to do, right, to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, the more fluent they're going to be with numbers, the better number sense they're going to have, the better the math student they're going to be, the more comfortable they're going to be with mathematics, right? Just in general, just in life. So they're not going to end up being one of these people that's scared of math. You don't want your children to be scared of math. That's not what you want. That ain't what you want. So having them learn different methods and use different methods is going to help them to never become scared of math. All right. So how to use the arrow method. You start with the first add-in. Now, add-ins are numbers that are being added to arrive at a sum. The sum is the final answer. All right. So you got 18. You write that down. You write 18 down. All right, then you draw an arrow. That's why it's called the arrow way. It's like a progression. It's almost like the flow chart. This also prepares your children for something else, right? It prepares them for chemistry later on, right? Because you're gonna have chemical reactions where you're gonna have to like set stuff up with arrows, right? It also prepares them for using the distributive property and to do mental math and also in algebra. But it also prepares them for geometry, solving geometric proofs or doing proofs using a flowchart method, right? The flowchart set up for geometric proofs, right? It's also preparing them for a lot of things. So in case you wonder, well, why they got to do that? Why we got to do it? I just gave you a couple reasons right there. Matter of fact, I gave you more than a couple. A couple is two. I gave you three just now. All right. But anyway, the first add-in is 18. So you write that down, right? Then you write an arrow. Now, where does this 10 come from? The 10 comes from the second add-in. The second add-in, you break it up into tens and ones, tens and ones, tens and ones. So 11 is the same thing as saying 10 plus 1. That's what 11 is. 11 is the same thing as saying 10 plus 1, right? So that's why we got the plus 10 right here. 18 plus 10 gives us 28, right? After that, what's after that? What's the ones? We got plus 1, right? So we got 28 plus 1. Where does that leave us? 29. That's our final answer, all right? Now, how do I know 28 plus 1 is 29? We could count on from 28. You add 1 to 28, you end up with 29. Or think about this, separate the 8 from the 20, you end up with 8 plus 1. So you got the 20 over here, then you got 8 plus 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. 20 plus 9 is 29, right? Then you go down to number 2. Number 2, we didn't do yet. So if you want to, you can hit pause, Do number 2 by yourself, and then hit play to see if your answer matches up with our answer or your process. All right, so 18 plus 18. Our first add in is 18, just like in number 1. So we're going to rewrite that. We're going to write 18. Then you're going to write an arrow, right? So you're going to write an arrow. You got 18, and then what's going to happen? You're going to break the 18 down, right? So you break the 18 down into tens and ones, tens and ones, tens and ones. So you break the 18 down, you got 10 plus 8, right? You got 10 plus 8. So I'm going to do plus 10 first because we're going to add our tens, right? We add our tens up, and 18 plus 10 is going to be 28, right? Because if I got 18 has one group of 10, and then 10 is another group of 10. So how many tens do you have altogether? We got 2 groups of 10. We got 2 groups of 10. So we got 10 plus 10, which is 20. And then we got the 20 plus the 8, right? Which gives us 28. Now, what's left? We still got to add the other 8 because 18 can be broken down into 10 plus 8, right? Let me fix my arrowhead. So that's going to be 10 plus 8. And then, so we got to add 8. So you put plus 8 on top of that arrow, just like we put plus 1 on top of this arrow up here. Now, 28 plus 8. What is 8 plus 8? 8 plus 8 is 16. 8 plus 8 is 16. So one way to look at this, we could say 20, because 28 is the same thing as 20 plus 8. 20 plus 8. So if we separate the ones from the tens, 8 plus 8 is 16. So now we could also look at that as 20 plus 16. Now, 16, now follow me, stay with me, stay with me. 16 can be broken down into 10 plus 6. 10 plus 6. So that means I got 20 plus 10, which is 30. And then the 6 that's left over, 30 plus 6 is 36. That's our final answer. Or we could count on from 28, right? We can count on from 28. So we start with 28 and then we go 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. That's 8. That's 8. And I stopped at 36. So that means that 28 plus 8 is 36, right? Or we could think about this in terms of number bonds. This 8, I could break that down into 2 plus 6, 2 plus 6, 2 plus 6. Now, why would I do that? How would that help me? How does that help me? It helps me because if I break this down into 2 plus 6, what's 28 plus 2? 28 plus 2 is 30. 28 plus 2 is 30, right? And then what's left over? 6. So 30 plus 6. Why would I do it like that? Because it's relatively easy to add a number to a number that ends in 0. So those are just a couple ways to end up with 36. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button. All right. Also, make sure you do your research on Frederick Douglass and share this video with at least 2 people and drop your questions in the comment section. Later.